The Sailboat Company of Naples demonstrates the pull system with the Kanbans for inventory management. Brought to you by EducateVirtually.com. Here is the Sailboat Company's future state process layout. It features Kanbans for inventory management, and those are located at each one of the different workstations. Kanban for the hulls, for the sails, subassemblies, cabins, cockpits, sailboats with no GPS, the GPS Kanban, and then the finished goods outgoing Kanban from workstation number 3. Kanbans provide the visual signals for the upstream processes to build sailboats and subassemblies. The initial Kanban size is set at 6 for all components and subassemblies. This will be reduced as a part of the continual improvement process. The downstream flow goes from Work Center 1 to Work Center 2 to Work Center 3 and then finally out to shipping and off to the customer. The upstream process is triggered by the Kanbans. As we take finished goods out of Work Center 3's outgoing Kanban, that provides the signal to grab a subassembly from Work Center number 2, its outgoing Kanban, add the GPS, and replenish the Kanban that has just had units taken from it. That will trigger Work Center number 2 to begin to get hull and sail assemblies, add cabins and cockpits to replenish its Kanban. That will then send the signal to Work Center number 1 to take hulls and sails and begin to replenish the subassemblies from Work Center number 1's output Kanban. So the flow of signals goes from the customer through Work Center 3, back through Work Center 2, and back to Work Center number 1. The flow of materials goes like this. And that's the initial part of taking a look at the pull system with Kanbans demonstrated by the Sailboat Company of Naples. We're ready for another day of production at the Sailboat Company of Naples. We start off with all of our Kanbans full, components and subassemblies throughout the whole production line. We're waiting for that first order. The order has just come in, and it's an order for 6 sailboats, 6 FP1s. Let's move those over to shipping so they can get sent out to the customer. Off they go. Now Work Center number 3 has received a signal, a visual one, that says it's time for you to start producing. So we need to take some SA3s from the output Kanban of Work Center number 2, add some GPS systems, and begin to fill our outgoing Kanban. So let's do that. Now, as we are building these, Work Center number 2 is beginning to feel a sense of need to begin to start to produce because they're seeing that their outgoing Kanban is being completely depleted of all of its subassemblies. Now, a signal now goes to the vendor that says we need to replenish our GPSs. A signal now has gone to Work Center number 2 to begin to build SA3s. That signal now is telling Work Center number 2, get your SA1s and begin to add your cabins and cockpits to begin to produce your SA3s. Whoops. Now, as we're sending signals to the work centers, it's also sending signals to our vendors to make sure that they replenish our stock. Alright, now the signal's now being sent. We need raw material, and we also need subassemblies number 1. So that's going to translate into, we need to build some hull and sail assemblies and fill this Kanban. Well, that's how the Kanban pull system works, and our outgoing Kanbans are now full, so we can stop producing until we get the next signal. Meanwhile, we need to get some replenishments of hulls and sails and cabins and cockpits and GPS systems, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll once again. EducateVirtually.com. Continuing education when the time is right for you. We place the classroom onto your computer desktop. Visit us today.